What up, everybody? It's your boy Adam. It is Tuesday night, and I am beat, but I got some stuff done. I mean, look at me, man. Life is not good right now. I haven't had a good shower since January. Fuck, man, it's April 22nd. Like, do you know what? Holy fuck, man. When I was homeless, I could take showers. Like, how crazy would you be if you couldn't take a real shower for 3 fucking months? Would that be enough to drive you up the fucking wall? Um, anyway, it's having a profound effect on me right now. And then you add in all the other stuff that goes with it, and it's tough. Every day is a struggle right now. April 3rd was my breaking point when this fucking slumlord came at me, threatening me, and playing his fucking games, which he's going to lose. He thinks he's a winner, but he's fucked around and he's going to find out. So, yeah, I just got done with, let's call it digital chores. I didn't get shit done today that I wanted to do. But my list is just the things I have to do. It's so ridiculous that you can't do it if you're not on point to begin. You can't. I can barely accomplish it to begin with, let alone if I'm a complete basket case, mentally speaking. Like, I'm done. I'm falling apart. Some days are better than others. Today is, I have to chalk it up to the ridiculous bicycle commute is taking a serious toll. And this is the day that it hurts the most physically. I do have some things going on this week. And if I can, I don't know. There's some things going on this week, and I'm starting to get, I don't want to say I'm getting stressed out, but I'm getting sick and tired of a lot of stuff. I'm just kind of like a basket case right now. Tomorrow will be better. Tuesday's always the worst day of the week in terms of my energy. But when I see myself in this video looking back at me, I can see how much I'm falling apart right now. I'm taking drastic action, and I'm taking it fast, and it's going to, I don't know exactly how this is all going to go, but things are going to happen pretty quick. It's just, if I knew what was going to happen in the next week or two, I would actually like say so. But there's still a lot unknown to me. And by the time you're watching this video, another week will have probably gone by. So, and like I said, I'm doing this for a reason. I'm putting everything on like a 5 to 7 day delay from the time I say it to the time you see it. But I'm 2 days into the week. It's Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday. I've already, in my timesheet where I track my productive time, I'm already at 24 hours of doing productive things. So it's just the time I'm spending doing the productive things that I need to do aren't where it needs to be. But I can still get there. I've still got 3 days to get there, and I cleared off things on my plate today. One example of this is keeping track of your money, keeping track of your bills, and all of that stuff, reconciling your bank accounts in some sort of banking software, which I cannot stress enough. I would not be able to function at all right now if I didn't do that. You know, and then I got people in my comments that tell me I'm wasting my time by organizing. I've had people in the comments say, organizing your life is a waste of your time. You need to focus on other things. If you don't know how much money you have in the bank and where it's all going and when the bills are due and all that kind of shit, that's a recipe for a complete and total disaster, especially when you have no fucking money. So I do it about I'm on track right now. I'm doing it like once every 10 days roundabout. And it takes 2 hours on average. If I wait 10 days to update all that stuff and take a solid look at everything, you know, what's been paid, where's the money going, what's coming in, when's it coming in, you know, all that stuff. If I go 10 days without updating it, it takes about 2 hours to figure it out. And this is consistent. You know, you'd think for somebody who's not even going to make 25 large in a year that there isn't much to track, but pennies count. You know, I still have bills to pay. I still have groceries to buy. I still have income from multiple sources. So if you don't know what, I was very stressed out this morning because it's been 10 days and I'm like, I have an estimate in my head on how the numbers look getting to the end of this month when I really need to know. And now I know exactly down to the penny where everything is, what's where, and where everything's going and what's coming up for the next month. So I have an exact number. So that, like, the stress, that takes your stress down like 10 notches. It's still stressful because I don't have enough to do what needs to be done, but I'm still going to do it. And we're just going to go from there. There's 4 different directions things might go in the next 2 weeks. It's just going to boil down to there's a lot of factors at play. This is going to boil down to how things go at this point. I don't know how to put it. I'm a storyteller. I would love to tell you the whole thing, but I don't know. I'd give you the details, but I can't right now. If that situation changes, I'll pull the videos out of the rotation and just drop a freshie in the mix on the day that I can talk about it. Tomorrow will be better. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's going to be a good 3 days, I can tell. I mean, I'm going to be able to get things done because of what I did today. I got things out of the way that are time consuming and annoying because that's what I had the energy for. Tomorrow I'm getting up early and I'm just going to plow through it. Going 3 months without a proper shower, that is fucking horrendous. It's so bad. It's such an awful. It just feels so fucking awful. And then, you know, dickheads in the comments are like, stop complaining, you dumb piece of shit, and all that. Fuck you. Don't come to the fucking channel if you don't want to listen to it. Like, nobody's forcing you. Nobody's holding a gun to your head saying you have to come watch this fucking video. Fuck. But I don't even know like why. I don't even know why I turned on the camera tonight. It's time. We're 10 minutes in. I don't got other than like there is like a peace of mind that I have right now. Like I wanted to go grocery. Here's the thing. I wanted to go grocery shopping today because I thought I'm low on energy, and that would actually be something I could get out of the way. But my energy is so shot the fuck out that I can't even put on the backpack and go walk the mile to the grocery store, get my groceries, come back, carry a 50-pound backpack full of food and groceries. Plus, I didn't know how much I can spend because I need all the money that I can keep in the bank. And it's like I do have some food. I had no problem eating today. I always buy more than what every time I've gone grocery shopping, I buy more food than I need for the week because I'm building a supply because I went 2 weeks without after April 3rd and the landlord bullshit. I went 2 weeks without grocery shopping. And I was able to cook and make something. I was able to eat every day without any issues. But then I had to go because I was running out of toilet paper. That's what drove me to the grocery store. You know, if you recall, back in February, I'd have to go to the grocery store like every 3 days because I was running out of cold brew coffee. And that was my motivator to go back to the grocery store. Go back to the grocery store. Go back. I was going to the grocery store like every 3 days. I could barely keep I couldn't keep a week's worth of coffee in that fridge when I first moved in here. To the landlord's credit, he did get me a bigger fridge, but it took a month for him to do it. Even though he told me, when I signed the lease, he told me, I'll have a new refrigerator in there. I'll have this little cabinet thing with this stovetop thing, an air fryer. I'll fix the ceiling. I'm going to put in a ceiling fan. And there was like 3 other things he said he was going to do. I'm going to put a bug zapper out on the porch. He had like this whole list of things that he was going to do. I signed the lease a week before I moved in. All these things were supposed to have been done when I moved in. I get here on the day I'm supposed to move in. Not one fucking thing was done. Not one item on that list was done. And so I was a little bit irritated about that, but at the same time I was like, whatever, give the guy the benefit of the doubt. And it took a month. And then on top of all the things he didn't do, the hot water didn't work on day 1. And so the 2 biggest things for me were the fridge and the hot water. And he finally replaced the fridge like he said he would. That was part of the deal. And the hot water situation's worse than it was on day 1. Way worse than day 1. I literally can't take a shower in this place anymore. So, legally speaking, this guy has absolutely nothing. He has absolutely no ground to stand on for anything at all. Legally speaking, I hold all the cards now. Legally speaking, whatever I decide to do is what's going to get done. So I have 5 different options at my disposal right now, legally speaking. Every single one of them I win. So this guy has what's going to happen next is going to depend on a lot of different things, and I'm just going to leave it at that. It's April 22nd, and he's telling me it'll be April 30th when they put in the hot water tank. Like, that's the last day of the month. Like, it's obvious that he's trying to make my life miserable because he wants me out of here at the end of the month. But he knows he can't force me out because there's a lease. The rent's paid on time. Put it this way, there's not a single judge in the state of Texas who would allow him to throw me out. That I've been told, okay? And I've been told by someone in the know. And if he went and made that move, it's going to backfire spectacularly, and he probably knows that. He might know. And so he's trying to strong arm me, but it's not going to work. But at the same time, I don't want to stay in this shithole one more day than I have to. So, doing what need. People think that I just sit around and bitch all day. I'm actually doing stuff. That is all. Some of the stuff that I'm working on and doing right now is taking time away from other things I have to do. Like this whole. See, that's the thing. I'm all like worked up and wound up in the moment and pissed off about what's going on right now. And it's all consuming in certain ways, and it's hard to step away from that and just forget about it for a while. And that's really what I need to do. So tomorrow, when I'm physically destroyed right now. I have not been able to get caught up on dishes for over a week now, because I do eat every day and I do make food every day and I use water every day, so I've got empty water bottles. This whole situation that he's doing, it's causing me to falter. And so each day I do dishes every day except for today. And yet I have a bigger pile of dirty dishes than I had a week ago. And it just keeps building. And I don't have that many dishes. So it's not like, it's just fucked up, because it's, you know how hard it is to wash dishes with cold water? It's possible. I mean, somebody said, it's just like going camping. No shit, it's just like going camping. But when I bring my shit home from a camping trip, it has to go in the dishwasher. Or, it had to be, that was how it worked back in the day. I would put all the dishware in the dishwasher and wash them properly and put them away. But at the campsite, when you're washing your dishes with creek water, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not easy, but I'm telling you, I'm gonna put it this way. My camp kitchen, when I used to go camping, if I was glamping and I had my full camp kitchen set up, my dishwashing system for my camping gear is better than the fucking way I can wash dishes here in this tiny shithole house. And that's not an exaggeration. I had a 3-stage sink with a drying rack. I still have it, I think. I don't know. Camping gear is kind of like, some of it got saved, some of it didn't, and it's all up in Pittsburgh right now being stored. I don't know what's what. But I had in fact, I'm pretty sure I really don't know what's what. All I know is I have a multi-stage camp sink system. It's literally got like a wash, rinse, and sanitize and drying rack that all nests into itself. And it used to have a built-in sink. It used to have a built-in nozzle that took a special battery, and then I had an adapter so you could use rechargeable D-cell batteries. And it was a pump, and it had a faucet, and you could turn the faucet on and off. And something happened to the unit, the pump, to where the only way for me to fix it was to break out a soldering iron. I don't know, something happened and it stopped working. And so I put that away. But I kept all the nested pieces to it. And then I bought a camp shower system that has the old school spray nozzle on your sink back in the day that you'd have that you'd pull out of the sink, and it had the plastic hose, and it had the spray nozzle. I replaced that, so I replaced the built-in sink nozzle with one of those things, and it holds 4 gallons of water or something like that. So no, when I wash dishes at a campsite, My setup is better than washing dishes here in this fucking tiny house. Like 20 times better. And I could wash dishes a hell of a lot faster at a campsite than I can do here. Trying to wash Try to wash dishes in a bathroom sink with no hot water. And the sink, like, it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up right now in this place. And it's like the switch happened. So there's a lot of things that suck about this tiny little shithole. But it was all tolerable except for the hot water. Right up until April 3rd, I was okay, because my mindset was it's only 6 months and then you move on. Don't worry about it. But there's like a list of 150 things that I'm sick of at this place. Easily I could make that list 150 things about this shithole that I'm pissed off and sick of, but it was tolerable until April 3rd. What happened on April 3rd? The landlord attacked me. He came and started threatening me, saying he's increasing the rent. If I don't like it, he's throwing me out at the end of the month. There's nothing I can do about it. Bullshit. And he's refusing to fix the hot water, and he's gone and turned the fucking hot water completely off. And the whole thing is just a fucking mess. But it was April 3rd when he came at me threatening me and all that bullshit that, like, the switch was completely flipped and now I want to fucking take him down. But in reality, I just want to get away from the situation and just go back to having my peace of mind. A change in venue would, in the right circumstances, bring so much positive energy back into my life that I'd just forget about this bullshit, because this, like people keep saying, it's temporary. When you're in it, it's tough. The bakery hell week, Valentine's Day week was, oh my God, that week was so incredibly toxic and hard and difficult. I rode my bike 6 days out of that week to the bakery. That's 40 miles a day times 6. That's 240 miles in a week. Every single day. It was February, so it was ice cold, raining. It was a horrible week. 8 hours a day for 6 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That whole week. The busiest week of the year. The busiest days of the year. And that was misery. That whole week felt like 20 years of my life in terms of will it ever end. And then when it was over, it took a week just to get over that. And so now now that's like in the past. I'm talking about it because I'm making a point. I don't think about that hell week anymore. I've made adjustments. I've made some changes since that week. And I'm okay with, I don't want to go through that again. I can't do that again. I don't have the energy to go 240 miles on a bicycle over a week and work 6 times 8, like work for, well, okay, no, it had to be 5 days that week. Because they wouldn't give me, they don't like to give people, they don't want to give you 40 hours there. Companies don't want to give employees at part-time jobs, or companies, these kind of jobs, they're not, because of Obama and Obamacare and the health insurance requirement, they've made it so that you can't work at a job like this and get 40 hours a week, because as soon as you do, health insurance requirements kick in and overtime and all these things, government. So companies would rather have 20 part-time employees than 5 full-time employees. And So whatever, it is what it is. It's the kind of job it is. I'm not. But no, that was a hellish week. That was a week of hell. I know I rode for 240 miles because that's what Strava said that week. But I can't. Maybe I got a couple of short. I think I got short shifted, like to where I had some shifts that weren't that long, but I worked. I feel like I worked 6 days that week, but some of the shifts were short. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, which makes it even worse. You go on a 40-mile bicycle ride to make like $50. Like, what the fuck is it even worth? Um, so, but it's tough. This whole thing's tough. Um, but there have been some weeks of my life over the last year that have been incredibly tough and difficult. The kind of weeks that you dread before they arrive, knowing it's going to be a horrible week. And then it's so miserable just to get through that week. And then you get to the finish line and you can finally, it even takes a few days after the finish line before you can just be like, oh, and take a deep breath and relax. And so that's what I'm going through right now. I'm going through Hell Month. April 3rd. May 3rd, we'll see what the fuck's up. That's like the thoughts that go through my head. Like right now, just, I had this, like I'm just trying, I can't even shut off thoughts. These unnecessary worries that go through my head. My imagination is so freaking insane that I just made up some scenario in my head. I don't even remember what it was. Like, I've already put it out of my head because I was like, I already went through the process while you watch this video of having some random thought come into my head about some potential thing that could happen next month. And it snowballed into, like, you're going to be homeless again and all this other shit. And then I mentally just said, stop doing this. It's not real. And it went away, and I've already forgot. I don't even remember what it was. All this in the last 30 seconds to a minute of the, like, that's where I'm at right now mentally, and this is what happens all day long. So, like, the physical job of the bakery is not affected by this, but the mental work, it's if you're one of these blue collar people who don't do work with your mind and you don't sit in front of a computer and have to think through problems all day. You just put your head down and do physical labor all day. Can you do your physical labor with a broken arm? Can you do your physical labor with a broken leg? No. I could do my job, my computer work, with a broken arm, especially if it was the left arm. In fact, I broke my right arm to where I would have to lift my right arm up to the desk with my left arm and put my hand on the mouse with my right hand on the mouse with my left hand and then prop it up on the arm of my chair. And then I could work all day with a broken arm. I could work all day if I had a broken leg. Never broken a leg. But I could do all the mental work that I do for a living. The graphic design, the web design, marketing, that mental work. I could do it all day long if I had a broken body. But I can't ride my bicycle to the bakery and work at a bakery all day with a broken leg. Can't do it with a broken arm. And nobody would, and that's the fucked up thing about, and this is not me saying this, like, I am just repeating what therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health professionals talk about this all the time. That Nobody would question it if you said, I can't work today. I can't go on my 20-mile bike ride and work at the bakery today because I have a broken leg. I have a broken arm. But when you say that you can't sit down in front of your computer and focus on mental work, like coming up with a logo design, coming up with a design for somebody's website, coming up with a creative marketing piece, all that kind of mental stuff that's just 90% thought, 10% doing. If you say you have a broken mind and you can't do it today, people are just like, fuck you. You're a lazy piece of shit. What the fuck's your problem, asshole? You're just making up excuses. Fuck you. But nobody would question a soccer player not being able to play a soccer game with a broken leg. Do you see what I'm getting at? Like, this is common. Like, this is the way society operates. And the stigma. Nobody's gonna not be friends with somebody because they have a broken leg. If somebody's going through a mental issue, nobody wants to be around you. Nobody wants to be your friend. Everybody's like, peace out, bitch. I don't want anything to do with you. And I'm not saying I am in this mental, like, I need to go to the fucking loony bin, or I don't even need to go see a therapist. I'm just saying I'm having a bad couple of weeks. You know, go 3 months without taking a proper shower and see how you fucking feel. You know, shit, I go on road trip. I used to go on road trips all the time. I would live rough. I would come back looking worse than this from some of these trips. Going on photography trips across the country, living out of the back of a pickup truck camper. And or out of a two-door Jeep Wrangler or a bicycle or a backpack on a hike. Like I would live rough. And I could go 10 or 15 days without a shower and smell like the inside of a hockey glove that never got washed a week after the hockey game. I could smell so bad that when I got home and opened the door of the Jeep, if there were animals in the yard, they'd run away. Like birds would fly out of the trees and go find a tree farther away to get away from me. But I could take a shower when I got home. So go 3 months without taking a proper shower and see how you feel. Do what I've been doing for the last 3 months and see how you feel. Turn off the hot water in your house and only have cold running water and no shower. And see how long you can go before you turn that shit back on and say, fuck this. You know, do it as a preparedness test. You know, like some people, some of the preppers out there, they'll shut off the power to their house. They'll hit the main breaker switch on the house just to test their preparedness and see how many days they can go before they finally cave in and turn it back on. You won't go that long without it. But I don't know. It seemed like since the day I moved into this place, it's been one problem after the next. It's like so problematic that it's like God is. It feels like he's just. I don't know why. There was not a better place to be found when I moved in here. So I just keep circling back to this. Maybe God wants something better for me. And I need to just chill out and let this happen. And let it happen his way. Because what if a week from now I'm sitting in an awesome place and maybe not everything's perfect because moving fucking sucks. Moving fucking sucks, man. No matter what. Every time I have moved, if I have to move, it's Let's count right now in real time. I'm going to count moving from prison into my ex's apartment, moving from her place to the homeless shelter, moving from the homeless shelter to my best friend's house in Texas, then moving here, and then moving again. That's having to move 5 times in a fucking year. How many times have you had to pack up and move 5 times in a year? Granted, I don't have a lot of stuff, but the most number of times I've had to move in a year was twice. And that was in college. And that was because I moved from this slumlord dump that we lived in back then to an apartment run by an even worse slumlord who forced me to move 2 months after I moved into there, and I had to move again. And then I was living in a great place with a great landlord, and they were really awesome people to deal with. Great people. Place was awesome. My favorite place I lived the whole time I was in art school. And yeah, they were great. That place was freaking I wish I had found that place first. I wish I Oh, that would have been a wonderful 2 years to have been there the whole 2 years. Man, that was like the perfect spot. And that's what I'm hoping for. Like maybe this is all just maybe this situation is just meant to prepare me for the next one. I don't know like what pot I all I'm hoping for without over analyzing everything is that a month from today I can sit down at this video and be like, thank God that landlord was such a scumbag. Because now look at this. Look at where I am. This is so much better. This is so much better, and I would have had to wait 6 months. And I did it in 3. So, but nothing's going to be easy. None of this is going to be easy. Financially, it seems impossible to me financially even right now. Like it all just seems to work out the way it's supposed to, but it seems very it's so like I cannot live on the knife's edge of disaster day after day after day for another year of my life. I won't make it. I can tell you that for 100% sure. Some sort of stability needs to shake out to where I need to be able to have some sort of stability for a year. And it's like, I'm loving the fact that the trolls on this channel are just, they're swarming the place like flies on shit because it's their favorite thing in the world to see somebody going through a hard time. It's like when you fucking assholes walk down the street and you see a homeless guy sleeping on a bench, do you go up and kick him? Do you throw shit at them? Do you dump your fucking coffee on them as you walk by? Like that's what you do on YouTube. And look, I went to prison for being an internet troll, so maybe I'm speaking from experience. I don't know. I'm just gonna let it go. In fact, I'm just gonna say peace out for a bit, but I'll add a little more to this video. And but this whole not being able to take a fucking shower shit is, I'm fucking over it. And there's so many, oh my God, there's so much more shit to talk about. Later. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Adam. It is 6 in the morning, slightly after, on Wednesday. And it's April 23rd. And I just woke up, like, naturally. So, like I said, Tuesdays, most of these Tuesdays are painful. It was painful yesterday. The muscle, lactic acid, all the fatigue, it was pretty intense. I still got things done, but I didn't do I didn't work on what I'm really supposed to be doing. But the things that I got done are important. So I guess that's going to be good enough. Wow, just a lot of more shitty comments from the trolls. Holy fuck. With they love to kick you when you're down. That's the funny thing. All these trolls disappear when things are going well, because they're probably all pouting like, fuck, I hate when I see that guy getting ahead in life. I wish that guy was still homeless. Like I'm just imagining these trolls probably can't even sleep at night when things are going well in our lives. But as soon as you come across a little bit of adversity and you share it with people, now I can leave a shitty comment under the video. Yeah. Oh boy, it's so funny. It's so funny to watch. They probably all look like Gollum from Lord of the Rings after he turned into Gollum and found the ring, not when his name was still Smeagol. But I don't know. And then I get other comments. I don't know which video is on which day anymore. And here's the thing. I can't say this enough. So many people just leave comments that have absolutely no, like, they're obviously reacting to something I said, but they leave no clue as to what it was I said. So sometimes I can read it and be like, oh, okay, they must be talking about that. But I'm going to say 9 out of 10 times, I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Especially with this set of videos where I'm recording a video and then 5 to 7 days later it's going live and people are commenting on it. I don't know what you're talking about. All you got to do is type in the time of the video. If it was a minute and 5 seconds, 1:05 space whatever your comment is. If it's an hour and 10 minutes and 59 seconds, 1:10:59. That's all you got. You type in the time, and YouTube in the comment will turn that into a hyperlink, which allows anybody to click on it and go to that part of the video. It's that simple. So if you want to comment on something I said, it's just a handy tip. I'm not being a dick. It's just a handy tip. You could do this with any YouTube video. If you want to comment on something somebody says, just hit pause, look at the time in the corner, and type that in to the comment we're all good. Then now we can, it's very easy to get the context of what was being said, and then the comments will make sense. And I think sometimes, because I see this on other videos, if you put the time code in the comment, when the video's playing and you have the comments visible and the video's not playing full screen, sometimes YouTube will elevate the comment to be visible to everybody in the comment section. It'll put it at the top. In the app, the YouTube app on the phone does weird things like that. It'll elevate different comments throughout the video that match up with what's in the video. And I think that's kind of cool. It's not the same as the live chat feed that goes along with, holy wow, the live chat that goes along with the live videos, but it kind of acts like that, where the comment will pop up at that point in the video for everybody to see. Let's see, one of the comments. Now this is, I there's a lot of cool people in this channel in the comment section, and turns out some of them are Democrats. Imagine that. And you know how I feel about the Democrats if you've been watching this channel for a long time. But I always say I used to get along with everybody. Politics didn't matter to me, because if you really watch the channel, you'll see that I think both sides of the political spectrum are fucking retards, crooks, assholes. Like, I don't like any of them. I typically, when I say I got along with everybody, yes, I would generally get along with everybody before 2020. 2020 changed everything. And I don't know how we're coming back. That's like, honestly, some of us have been treated so badly by the Democrats that and the Democrats have ruined so many lives and livelihoods that it's getting to the point where it's like, how many Jews forgave the Nazis after World War II? Most of them got the fuck out of Germany and don't ever want to go back and hate the Germans to this day. Some of them moved to America and drive around in BMWs now. So everybody's got their own way of dealing with the past. But we have some work to do after that fucking retarded ass shit show. Like, anybody who thinks that I should have lost my remote job for not taking Dr. Fauci's shot, we're done. We're not cool. Let's see. But there's something I observed. Now, in a video, a few videos back, I don't know which one it was, I was talking about the WWE wrestler who said that when the crappy wrestler that was just there to get the shit kicked out of him by Hulk Hogan or one of the stars, when he'd show up to the doorway and the spotlights would shine on him and the crowd would just be like, whatever, and start booing and whatnot, the WWE would pump fake crowd noise through the speakers in the arena and make it sound like people are cheering for the guy, and all of a sudden people in the audience would start cheering for the guy. Like, they could manipulate the crowd just by pumping in fake noise. to get the actual crowd to cheer for the guy. And the wrestler was talking about how now he sees it in the media that they can just pump in the fake crowd noise and get the political parties all riled up and willing to go out and do things and cheer for people that they would otherwise boo. And I even shared that I went to a Ron Paul debate when he was running for president in Baltimore. And they didn't do this at the debate, but on TV, all the debates, and they do this all the time. This isn't new. They, for the TV audience, if a candidate that the news media doesn't want you to vote for is getting cheers from the crowd, they'll mute that on TV so that you don't hear it. Because they can isolate to an extent. They can manipulate the audio to remove the cheers of the crowd. And then they can put fake cheers in for the candidates that they want to see win. So when Ron Paul got up on the stage, I'm telling you, I was there. Every single person in that entire arena, everybody in that crowd was there to support Ron Paul. Not a single person was in that auditorium to support any other candidate, not one. Every single person in that auditorium had a Ron Paul t-shirt on. And when Ron Paul came out onto the stage, you would think that, I'm trying to think of the equivalent rock concert. It was like Ozzy Osbourne just walked out on stage and bit the head off of a fucking bat and was like, ah! And the crowd just goes berserk. But when you watched it on TV, you didn't know that. And then like Jeb Bush comes out on the stage and everybody's like, boo, fuck you, and you didn't hear that either. If you watched it at home, you probably heard cheers and yay when Jeb Bush came out onto the stage. When they had the Iowa caucuses, Rick Santorum, the reason I know this asshole's name is because he was a senator from Pennsylvania. Now, he was a piece of shit. He's not senator of Pennsylvania anymore, but or from Pennsylvania. He's just some rich cocksucker who lives in Washington, D.C., but he did the same thing that when Hillary Clinton ran for Senate, what did she do? She bought a house in New York so that she could run for Senate in New York. She'd only been to New York City to hobnob with a bunch of rich cocksuckers. She didn't give a fuck about New York. She didn't give a fuck about the people from New York. She bought a house in New York State so she could run for Senate and be a New York State senator. She'd never lived in New York before. I don't know if Rick Santorum was from Pennsylvania, but he was one of those senators. He had a mansion in D.C. somewhere. He's just some rich cocksucker running for Senate. So he bought a house in Pennsylvania, a rundown $60,000 dump, and that was his residence in Pennsylvania that he used in order to be able to run for Senate. And like the lawn was overgrown, the fucking weeds were all the way up to like your neck in his front yard. The place was squalor. It was borderline condemned. All of the neighbors around this house had to file all kinds of grievances with the town and all this and that because it was an eyesore, and his fucking house in Pennsylvania was bringing down the property values of all the surrounding homes because it wasn't being upkept. It was just it was like somebody bought an abandoned house in Detroit with particle board windows and a collapsed roof and weeds in the front yard that were up above your head, full of snakes and who knows what going on, probably 10 homeless people living inside of it. You know, the whole deal. Just so that they could run for Senate in Michigan. But they don't actually live in Michigan. They don't give a fuck about Michigan. They don't even want to go visit Michigan because Michigan's a fucking dump. They don't want anything to do with the state, but they needed a home, they needed an address so that when they filled out their fucking card to run for Senate, they had a home somewhere in the state. So, here's $50. Let's buy this rundown piece of shit house and save ourselves some money because all we need is an address. So that's what Rick Santorum did when he ran for Senate in Pittsburgh. He bought some condemned house and called it his home in PA. So during the Iowa caucuses, which is, you know, the Iowa caucus and the New Hampshire primary are the two first primaries. It's the first vote of the season when it comes to picking your shitty candidate that's going to be the candidate for president for your shitty political party. And Rick Santorum won the Iowa caucus, and Ron Paul was second place. And then no, my bad. Hold on. Scrap that. John McCain won the Iowa caucus. Well, I'd have to really look this up. This was a while ago. No, because I think Santorum got like a surprise win. No, it had to be John McCain. No, this is what it is. Okay, I got it now. John McCain won. He won everything. Ron Paul got second place. Rick Santorum got third place. And some other candidates got fourth, fifth, whatever. The news media was like, "Yay, John McCain's the winner," and then they would have like they would be like, "And Rick Santorum got third place," and all this and that. They would not say Ron Paul's name. In fact, there was a big joke going around. Jon Stewart on The Daily Show did a whole segment about how every news channel in America refused to say the name Ron Paul. They would just, every news media across the country would say, "Oh, John McCain, first place, and Rick Santorum gets third, and then so-and-so and Douche Canoe got fifth place," and, you know, whatever. They would not say his name. He got second place. And the same kind of thing happened in New Hampshire, where John McCain, of course, won. But people in New Hampshire were like, what the fuck's going on? Because Ron Paul, there were whole counties in New Hampshire that reported 0 votes for Ron Paul. And then people were coming on radio shows and saying, me and my whole family voted for Ron Paul, and everybody I know voted for Ron Paul. They're like, I personally know 100 people that voted for him. And our county shows 0 votes for the entire county for Ron Paul. And so groups of people decided to band together. Now, they would never rig an election in America. So groups of people were getting together to have a recount in New Hampshire. And they wanted to target 3 or 4 counties. And the cost to file a recount was something like $30,000 to $60,000 per county. And so this these grassroots groups raised money. They set up a website and they raised money, and they raised one county, they raised $30,000, and when they turned around to go pay for the recount, PayPal seized all the funds. I've told you about PayPal more than once, about how they're a crooked scam. I told you how they froze my PayPal account at least 3 times while I was homeless, and I had to shut it off and not use it anymore. This is what PayPal does. It's a crooked scam. Um, so I have so many examples of PayPal pulling scams on people. It would take me all day to talk about it. But this one here, they raised the money necessary to have these recounts done in New Hampshire and to try and raise the issue. But this was when they were switching to all these electronic voting machines, so there's no paper trail anyway. These electronic voting machines that have, it was harder. I mean, elections have been rigged the entire history of the United States, but now that they have these electronic voting machines, it's super easy to do. Super easy. And so, but they raised the money for the recounts, and PayPal was like, nope, took the money. Just took it from them, froze the accounts, took the funds. That's it. And then now these people have to fight to get the money. And by the time a year and a half goes by while they're trying to get PayPal to unlock the account, the time has passed for the recounts. So these dirty cocksuckers will do anything to get their piece of shit candidate in the hot seat. The only reason Donald Trump was able to bypass all of that is because he's rich. Just like O.J. Simpson. The only reason O.J. Simpson got away with killing his wife is because he's rich. Donald Trump got to be president because he's rich. He's got enough money to fight back against all the bullshit. If I was rich, I wouldn't have gone to jail for what I did. If I was rich, I would have been able to go home and not sit in jail while I had to fight for my life and my trial. And if I was rich, I probably would have ended up with probation. And if I was rich, I'd probably be off probation. I would have been off probation by the time my prison sentence was done. And if I was rich, Donald Trump probably would have given me a pardon and expunged my record so that I could go and get a job and stay rich. But I'm not. So he didn't, and I can't. So I hate the fucking Republicans. I hated George W. Bush so much that everybody called me a stupid Democrat for 8 years. And I hated Bill Clinton and Al Gore. I couldn't stand them. Bill Clinton was so fucking corrupt that he's the one who forged my tinfoil hat and gave it to me. Like, everything that he's the one who started me on this path that got me to where I am today. So if you want to thank anybody, thank that corrupt slime ball. So anyway, getting closer to the point here. There's this dude, I'm not going to say his name. He knows who he is. He's left me a few comments about how him and his family are Democrats. But they like the channel, him and his, or at least him and his, but he says, me and my family, we're all Democrats. And, he said something to the effect of, we worked hard, we bought our, he said, we worked hard for our money, we bought the things that we worked really hard to get the things that we have, our land and our home and this, that, and the other thing. And, we don't go walking around, carrying our card with our pronouns. We don't even know what our pronouns are, like, I don't know the exact words that he used. And so I'm like, oh, okay, so basically you're a Republican that lives in Massachusetts. So you still have to call yourself a Democrat so your house doesn't get burned to the ground. Is that what you're saying? Like, well, we are Republicans, really, but But if we say that we are, all of our friends and family will abandon us, and the neighborhood will show up to burn our house to the ground. So we have to tell everybody that we're Democrats because we live in Massachusetts, and that's how it is. I get it. I get it. Massachusetts is a rough neighborhood. Um, wouldn't catch me dead living there. I know things about Massachusetts. I've known more than one person that lived there and lives there. I know a bunch. Um, you couldn't pay me enough to live in Boston. Um, Honestly, I mean, yeah, you gave me, if you decided, okay, we'll pay you $1 million a year to live in Boston, I would go live in Boston for a year. Because you can live pretty large for $1 million. If granted, go Boston, I'll probably only walk away with 100,000 left in my pocket because Boston's so fucking expensive. But I could probably live pretty well for a year in Boston with making $1 million, and I'd have enough left in my pocket to get started somewhere better after I decide to peace out. But that's about as much as I could tolerate as a year. Um, but then I got so sometimes people leave comments on my channel, but then they must like have second thoughts and delete them. Or I don't think YouTube would have been the one to delete them because they weren't offensive or anything. Like, there was nothing in them that would cause some sort of YouTube algorithm to be like, nope, and delete it. I don't delete comments. The only time I've ever deleted comments are when YouTube puts them in a... YouTube will put some comments in this YouTube jail. But when I log into YouTube Studio, I didn't even know it was there for a long time. But there's this tab where I can see comments that were held for review. And the first time I saw that, I just let them all sit there. I was like, fuck it, I don't need to put these up. If you people can't behave, I'm not gonna enable you. But then I was like, you know what, fuck it. And there was some setting where it doesn't work, by the way, but there's some setting I found somewhere that allows the comments to skip the review process. So that if you leave a nasty comment that YouTube would have put in that YouTube jail, for me to be, and I'm the warden with the key that can let you out, I just said let him out. Like, I don't give a shit. But the other day I went in and I saw that there were like 3 comments in there, and I'm like, I thought I allowed these comments to just go through. Because I don't get an email when the comment lands in the YouTube jail. I don't get an email about it, so I don't know they're there. I don't get a notification saying, hey, you might want to come and check this comment out. I have to remember to go there and look once in a while. And so every now and then I get a bunch of shitty comments in there, but I don't know why they're being held. Because there's a setting to let them go through. I don't care. I don't need to look at it. Just let it go through. I don't care. They're still being held for review. And then there's a video. So last time I released them all to allow them to go through, all of a sudden I got a thing from YouTube saying your video has been marked 18 only. So the user has to be logged in and has to be older than 18 to watch that video. And I think it was because of the comment that I let through that was so offensive that YouTube was like, you know what? Only people 18 and above can watch this video now. So I kind of shot myself in the foot by letting your stupid fucking comments through. But whatever, I still don't give a shit. I hate this fucking platform, YouTube. It's a monopoly. There's nothing we can do about it. There's no other platform where you can put up video content and anybody's ever going to look at it, because all the SEALs are trained to go to YouTube. YouTube, 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 YouTube. That's all they know. You want to watch video? YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. That's all we've got. You can't, and and Rumble is the only thing that's come close to creating something that could compete with YouTube, and it fucking sucks. It's straight up, the app is buggy as hell. The website's buggy and shitty and clunky, and everybody says this. I'm not the only one. In fact, whenever I talk about Rumble with other people, they're like, man, that site sucks. And it does. But that's the point. Nobody can compete with YouTube because they're a monopoly, and in order to compete with a monopoly, somebody would have to lay out so much money that nobody, not even Elon Musk, can afford to start a company to compete with YouTube, because he would have to give up his entire fortune to do it, and the chances of him making a profit are pretty much slim to none, because YouTube has captured the entire video market. And that whole thing was a scam. The government funded that. The government funded this company to create a monopoly and to make it so that there's only one source for internet video. 99% of all video views on the internet are on YouTube, and then all the other platforms combined make up the other 1%. They were going. They used to break up monopolies. I mean, they even went after Microsoft for a bit for not forcing everybody, but because most Internet Explorer at one point in time bundled with Windows was the same level. It was like 95% of all internet traffic. And so they used that as a way to go after Microsoft with some antitrust stuff to try and break up the web browser monopoly. But eventually other web browsers came out because these big companies Google has money. So Chrome came out, and it was faster, and it was a better web browser. And then that took over the market share. And, Firefox has always been an underdog and always kind of will be. But now the browser market is more diverse. There's so many different, I think Chrome right now, Chrome is 60% of the browser market. That's just my guess without looking up the stats. And that's worldwide stats. It's still dominant, but there are other browsers out there. There is no monopoly on the web browser market. But if you were to look at, in terms of online video, YouTube, long format, horizontal video, YouTube is the only competitors to YouTube in terms of market share are things like TikTok. And TikTok became the catalyst for everybody to copy them. TikTok came out with, the short videos, the vertical videos, and now Instagram does it, and now Facebook has it, and now YouTube has it, and they all call it some dumbass name like Instagram Stories, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts. And it's like, okay, whatever. So TikTok started that trend of these stupid ass short attention span videos in the vertical format for your phone. I I can't stand them. I really can't. I can't stand TikTok. I don't like. I mean, I watch the YouTube shorts sometimes because they make it addictive where you listen to one and then you just keep scrolling and more videos, random videos. Sometimes there's a good one. I like a joke just as much as anybody, but um, I like to laugh. But a lot of these are just stupid. A lot of them are so short that they don't have an ending. They just leave off at a cliffhanger, and you're like, well, what the fuck happened next? And then, oh, well, whatever, just go away. I got stuff to do. Um, so, anyway, come back to this whole point of so there's this guy who's a Democrat, comes to the channel all the time. He's a cool dude. I don't have any beef with him. He sends me messages outside of this platform, and he's told me things about him and his life and all that. And prior to 2020, we could have been friends. And I'm not saying we can't. Don't take that the wrong way. Because you got to take some of the things I say with a grain of salt, coming from a guy whose life was basically destroyed by the Democrats. It all started when you fucking scumbags told me I'm not allowed to have a job working from home because I wouldn't take Dr. Fauci's shot. That was the catalyst that started this whole thing that put me in prison. And I'm not saying it's your fault that I said the things that I said. I could have kept my mouth shut or not gone to that extreme. But if you want to know where the anger came from, there you go. I was sick and tired of you fucking asshole Democrats demanding to see my vaccine card so I could go get fucking groceries. Putting a stupid mask on my face. There's so many of you fucking retards driving around still in 2025. Driving around in your car by yourself with your fucking mask on your face. What the fuck is wrong with you? The fuck is wrong with you? Like, you hate Donald Trump so much that you want to just continue to breathe in your bad BO breath through your nose and not be able to breathe properly and have a fucking stupid ass tan line around you basically look like the opposite of the sock monkey. The monkey that made out of the socks with the big circle around its mouth. That's what you look like here in Texas, but it's the opposite. You got a nice tan all over your face with this big white circle around your mouth because you've been wearing your fucking mask all the time. It's like, I got the same thing on my wrist. I have a tan line from wearing my heart rate monitor. But that's on my wrist. I'm not walking around with a big circle on my face because I can't take my fucking COVID mask off when I'm outside. What the fuck's wrong with you people? But anyway, so this guy says he's a Democrat, but he's like, we don't do the pronouns thing, and we don't. And I even said, this WWE guy, the media is putting out all this fake crowd noise, and they're picking the most extreme retarded dipshits to put on the bright lights of the stage and convince everybody that this is what the Democrats are. And then they pump the fake crowd noise of everybody cheering, and then all these Democrats get in lockstep and start cheering. The media goes, hey, everybody, it's time to go burn down the Tesla dealerships. And all these brainwashed, retarded-ass Democrats are like, yay, let's go burn down the Tesla dealership. But like 10 years ago, the fake crowd noise was telling all the Democrats to go buy Teslas because we have to buy electric cars now. And so that's what cracks me up the most. Now, the fucking Mockingbird media fake crowd noise machine is telling all the Democrats to go destroy people's Teslas and vandalize them and go burn down the Tesla dealerships. It's like you're all eating each other alive while the rest of us sit and laugh. because most people who own Teslas are fucking Democrats. And now you're out destroying your fellow Democrats' vehicles because you hate Elon Musk and you hate Donald Trump. And that cracks me the fuck up. Oh my God. Keep doing it, man. Just burn every Tesla that you see to the ground, but don't. Because, I'm on probation, and they're going to pull up my video and say I'm the one who made everybody do it. Without that disclaimer, if I say I hope all you Democrats burn all the Teslas to the ground, I'll be sitting in the fucking courtroom in Pittsburgh in about 6 weeks in front of this crooked ass judge telling me I'm the reason why everybody burned down the Teslas. Look, he told everybody to do it on YouTube and they went out and do it. But no, that's what's happening. The news media, the leaders of the Democrat Party, the fake crowd noise is being pumped through the speakers to rile everybody up, and then they get a bunch of fucking useful idiots to go out and burn this shit down. And now some of them are facing 20 years in prison for it. And, a lot of these, and here's the thing, a lot of these people, a lot of these dumbass trolls that leave comments on my channel, they'll leave comments like, how much you like Donald Trump now that you went to prison for him? Okay, well, are you going to go and leave comments on all the Democrats' channels? There's a bunch of Democrats that just got arrested for threatening Donald Trump's life, like threatening to kill Donald Trump. I never threatened to kill any specific person. I was just running my mouth about the FBI. The most specific I ever got was the feds and the FBI in my posts. While Democrats are out there saying, I want to kill Donald Trump. I want to cut open Melania's belly and watch her guts spill out. I want to take Elon Musk and kill him in front of his whole family, and then I'm gonna kill his kids in front of him and then cut his head off when we're done. Like, just specific shit. And now they're getting arrested, and all these trolls that leave these comments on my channel, you're not gonna go leave comments on those people's channel because you support what they're doing. You support what they said, you agree with them, and you're totally fine with it. You're not gonna go there and leave the same comments on those people's channels that you leave on mine. And here's what I'm getting at. Because you're brainwashed to believe that one party is better than the other. And so, like I told you, I used to get along with everybody. I hate both political parties. I hate all of these dirty crooks for the most part. In fact, the only time I ever wore a t-shirt for a politician was Ron Paul. And I can guarantee you that'll never happen again. There'll never be another politician that I give enough of a fuck about to wear a t-shirt for, or to go to a rally or anything like that. Like that shit's done. I played my part in 2008 and 2004 or 12, whatever. When was that? Yeah, it was 2004 and 2008. And was it 2000? No. Anyway, something's not right. But yeah, 2008 for sure. And anyway, was it 2000? Yeah, that's right. And then, so, yeah, I wore a Ron Paul shirt. But like I said, that shit won't happen again. And then I got along with everybody politically. The people I didn't get along with politically were the ones that were so entrenched as a Democrat or a Republican that the parable that Jesus taught, why do you point out the plank in someone else's eye or why do you point out the splinter in someone else's eye, but you ignore the plank in your own eye? And that's the perfect analogy for how people are when they buy into one political party or the other. Because I'll talk about the shitty things that the Republicans do all day. I did during this video. Now, I don't give a fuck. I don't have any skin in the game. I'm not on one of these teams. I have, I mean, I'm hanging out with Team Red because Team Blue is fucking done. They're off the fucking rails, and I don't want anything to do with that. But I do understand that a lot of it is the fake crowd noise being pumped through the speakers in the arena when half of the arena was booing the candidate. So I do understand this, and that's why when I say I hate all the Democrats, I kind of have to sit back and I'm like, can I get back to where I don't give a fuck about what party you are? I don't know. Obviously, I can to a degree because I talk to people, and, I can tell you a lot of Democrats are sick and tired of the fucking Democrats right now. But America, I don't know what the fuck it is about this country, but people are so brainwashed into thinking we only have two parties and we can only have two parties and we can't have another political party. It can't happen. We can't do that. We can't have that. It can't be allowed. So we have to pick one or the other. Other countries don't do that. But here in America, that's how it has to be. I don't understand, but it's what it is. Each party has factions within it. But this is something that always drove me nuts, going all the way back to the 1990s till today. People who are firmly entrenched in one party or the other, they all have this. They're going to point out the splinter in the other party's eye, but they won't point out the plank in their own eye. And it's on both sides. I can tell you just in the last couple of months, I can tell you about conversations I've had with people who are firmly Republicans and firmly Democrats. And, one guy, he'll sit there and he'll point out all the bad things that the Democrats did. And I'll be like, yeah, but what about when Trump did this? Or what about when so-and-so did that? And he'll just be like, huh? Like, he'll ignore the comment completely and just change the subject and start talking about something else. And on the Democrat side, I can remember this comment a little more specifically because it was recent, or more recent. This guy said, okay, I got it, because I looked something up. This guy on YouTube said, King Trump. Okay, first of all, his first part of the comment was, well, that this is one of the comments that came to my email box, but then different people will delete their comments because for whatever reason, I don't know. But I'll get an email saying someone commented, here's the comment, and I'll go to reply to it and the comment's gone. So whoever made the comment deleted their own comment, but because they left a comment in the first place, I got an email about it with the comment. So this comment said, first of all, it was like, King Trump, roll my eyes, here we go. King Trump, because of his tariffs, the economy has gotten so bad that our retirement savings has taken a big hit. Several, 30% hit. I don't know what the number was, and we're thinking about having to sell off some of our property just to survive right now. And I'm like, okay, that's legit. It's a legitimate complaint. The tariffs have hit the stock market. And, one of the things, I don't know if I've said it in my videos. If I did, I don't know which video. But, we need to do something like that because we've sent all of our jobs overseas, and then we're giving all of these countries, free reign to just pump all of their products back into our country with without having to pay any taxes or tariffs. And it makes it so that an American company can't manufacture anything here anymore, especially the greedy ones. and but so the tariffs are designed to bring back jobs to America and actually create jobs here and have companies like Apple make iPhones in the United States again, and something I'll bring up in a few minutes. Things like that. But it's going to take 10 fucking years just to build the factories, let alone hire the workers and get them trained and get them the jobs. Donald Trump won't even be president anymore. So what are we supposed to do for the next 10 years while the price of everything goes through the roof because we can't make any of it here? Why? Because we don't have any fucking factories anymore. America doesn't make anything anymore. So, and who wants to buy a shitty American car? Who wants to buy a fucking GM that's going to fall apart within 6 months? They're the shittiest cars in the world that are made in America. I'd rather have a car made in China, even though we don't see those on the road here very much. I'm sure the cars made in China are better than the cars made in America now. So there's a lot of problems with this tariff shit. But this one guy was saying, King Trump, because of his tariffs, our retirement savings are dwindling fast and going down in value, and we might have to sell off our property in order to survive. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I went to now I only looked up the Dow. I don't know I don't know what stonks that your retirement investments are in and whatnot, but remember, Vegas wasn't built by winners, and so neither was Wall Street. I mean, it's like okay, so you put all your money down on black and red came up on the roulette table and you lost some money. I mean, that's what you do when you invest in the stock market. I hope you know that the stock market is a casino. That's what it is. So to be surprised when you lost money at the casino, that's the whole reason Las Vegas exists, is because most people go to the casino to lose money and not to go home with more than they came with. But I had to take a look at the Dow. I just looked at the Dow. So, I don't know what stocks that you personally have all your retirement tied up in. But the Dow has taken a 5,000 point drop since Donald Trump, put out these tariffs. But then I'm like, there's got to be, and I'm looking at the graph and I'm going back in time and I'm like, oh, here we go. 2022, Joe Biden was pretending to be president and the Dow had a 5,000 point drop. Another huge drop in the same amount of drop in the same amount of time. Go look for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Look up the Dow Jones Industrial Index and you will see a big drop when Trump announced the tariffs, about 5,000 points over a short period of time. And then look back in 2022, there's a 5,000 point drop in a short span of time. And I don't remember what the news stories were that caused that one to happen. But that was Joe Biden's stock market. So even though the Trump dip that happened right now was 5,000 points, the bottom of that dip is still higher than the top of the stock market was when Joe Biden was president. And my point is the president doesn't have anything to do with the stock market trend over long periods of time. News articles are typically the catalyst for the dips and gains in the stock market, but it's a casino. It's just a betting. They're just betting on things. It's no different than betting on whether the fucking Chiefs or the Eagles are going to win the fucking Super Bowl. And news articles have bigger impacts on the stock market than anything that any fucking president does. The news media, the whole thing's a manipulation. That's why people like Nancy Pelosi can go into Congress worth a few $100,000 or whatever she is, make $174,000 a year, and then 6 years later she's worth $400 million, because they can manipulate the stock market so they know what stocks to buy, and then they pump up the value of those stocks, and then they sell them after they've inflated the value and take the money and run. And all I'm pointing out is this guy was getting all bent out of shape and screaming and yelling about King Trump made the stock market go down and we lost all our money. And I'm looking at the stock market and it's like, okay, you lost 5,000 points in the last month, but the bottom of that dip is still higher than anything in Joe Biden's presidency. And there was a dip in Joe Biden's presidency where the stock market dropped 5,000 points in the same amount of time. And I didn't hear that guy crying about how he lost all his money. It's only when King Trump did it. So King Trump has a splinter in his eye, but Joe Biden, I'm not going to pay attention to the plank in Joe Biden's eye. Not at all. Fuck that. Because they're the Democrats. They're my team. They're my boys. It's just like when you watch the Super Bowl and Ben Rapistberger, there's a questionable call about did he cross the line to get that touchdown. And everybody who's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan is like, yeah, he fucking crossed the line. Look. And everybody who was, I think it was I can't remember the name of the team because nobody gives a shit about the loser. But whatever the other team was, their fans were like, no way, he didn't cross the line, no way. And all the Steelers fans were like, yeah, he crossed the line, he got a touchdown, that's a touchdown, of course it is. That's how it is with politics. King Trump caused me to lose all my retirement money, yet the stock market's higher at the bottom of that loss than it was back during Joe Biden's presidency. And Joe Biden did the same thing. There was the same drop, 5,000 point drop in a short amount of time. I can't remember the reason. I don't know. I haven't correlated the news articles with the dates, but something caused the stock market to drop in 2022 severely. But you didn't hear the guy crying about how he lost all his retirement savings. It's only when Trump does it, it's bad. And I've been dealing with this shit since George Bush was president. Because here I am in the middle, and they know. So I don't know what it is. Like back in the day, it was different. Like people would see me as like the neutral party because I hate both political parties. So they would like try to nudge me and kind of like, hey Adam, psst, come over here. I got like the fucking weirdo with the trench coat and he opens it up and he's got all the fake watches in it. I'd be like, hey Adam, psst, Adam, come over here. I got something for you. Hey, do you know about the Democrats that did all this and that and the other thing? And this is a Republican I'm talking to. And I would just look at the Republican and be like, yeah, but you know about George Bush and Dick Cheney are torturing people right now, right? You know that they're war criminals and can't leave the country because if they did, they'd be arrested and brought to The Hague on war crimes charges and have to face a tribunal and possibly execution for the things that they've done. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Democrats. Forget about it. No, Republicans good, Democrats bad. And then another friend over here would be like, psst, hey, come over here. Hey, I got something for you. Open up the trench coat, and now they got a bunch of dirt about George Bush. And I'd be like, well, Obama's a corrupt piece of shit. And, who's the other Democrat? Al Gore. Al Gore says that New York City's going to be underwater in 8 years. And here we are, 25 years later, and New York City's not underwater. Can you explain that one to me? We're not talking about the Democrats. We're talking about the Republicans. Democrats good, Republicans bad. And that whole pointing out the splinter in the other party's eye while you ignore the plank in your own eye, that's the shit that drives me nuts. But it's brainwashing. Either your party, your team pumps all the fake crowd noise through the speakers of the arena and then gets you all riled up, and then you're like, and I'm, look, I have a very specific reason why I'm more on Team Red than Blue right now. Up until 2020, I didn't give a fuck about any of it. 2016, I thought it was great that Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton because I couldn't stand that fucking cunt. And that was a wonderful thing to watch. He didn't even think he was going to win. He didn't even have a venue set up to give a victory speech because he pretty much knew he wasn't going to win. Hillary Clinton had this whole extravaganza, this whole fucking New Year's Rockin' Eve in New York City gala planned with the fancy glass ceiling so that she could talk about the glass ceiling and, the fireworks and all this stuff. She had it all fucking paid for and ready to go. It was like she had all the t-shirts. It was like, when the team's winning 5 minutes before the end of the Super Bowl, they're passing out all the hats and the shirts so the players can dance around with their world championship fucking attire before the end of the game. That's how she was playing it. And Donald Trump wins, and he's like, oh, fuck, I got to give a victory. Well, here, let's get this shitty hotel ballroom set up, put a microphone up there, and I'll give some sort of victory speech. Fuck, I didn't even know this was going to happen today. It was beautiful to watch that. All the Hillary Clinton president t-shirts got shipped over to Africa for the starving kids to wear, just like they do with the losing Super Bowl team's clothing. It was fucking beautiful to watch that shit. It's fucking awesome. But I still wasn't, on Team Red. When Donald Trump won, I voted for him. It was more I was like, well, we got a bunch of 50-gallon drums of gasoline sitting here. And we got a hand grenade. And I'm like, you know what? Let's see what happens. Pull the pin, throw that bitch. Watch what happens. Let's see. Because what else are we going to do? Vote for that fucking cunt? We already know what we're going to get if we vote for her. Donald Trump, he's a wild card. He grabs women by the pussy. He don't give a fuck. He fires people. He says whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah, let's see what he does. Let's see what he does. And I'm still waiting to see what he does because he hasn't really done shit, in my opinion. The first 4 years, he said he was going to do all this shit and he didn't do any of it. And then they stole the election. And he just let them do it. So I don't know. I mean, if we don't know who fucked the kids on Jeffrey Epstein Island, if the people that stole the election don't go to prison, if the people that are organizing the riots don't pay for what they did, there's a lot of people who need to get justice. You know, if they're going to throw a guy in prison for 2 fucking years for mean tweets, but the pedophiles that raped kids on Jeffrey Epstein Island get to keep raping kids, then no, I'm not a Trump fan at the end of the day. But, you know, don't, like, I'm the first guy that'll tell you Trump did something shitty. Because I don't care. I don't have any skin in the game. I don't give a fuck about Republicans or good guys and Democrats or bad guys. But I'm not going to be a Democrat. That's for fucking sure. Like, I'm not going to be a member of the party that walks around with a dumbass mask on their face while they're walking through the woods outside. I mean, I used to go on hikes during 2020 and I wouldn't wear a mask, and I'd come up on Democrats in the woods and they'd hide behind trees and get all scared and get all like, "Get away from me! Get away from me! You're not wearing a mask! Get away! Get away!" I can't even count the number of times that fucking happened. Me and my son used to laugh at you fucking retards. We'd be walking through. My son will never forget walking through the fucking woods in North Carolina, going camping, and having fucking retarded ass mask wearing Democrats hiding behind trees because they're afraid of the two people without their masks on. It's like back in the day, you were supposed to be afraid of people wearing masks. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could just keep going on and on and on about this subject. But the point is, I know that not all the Democrats, I know a lot of the Democrats are sick and tired of the fucking Democrats, but a lot of people are so married to their political party that they can only point out the splinter in the other party's eye while they completely ignore the plank in their own party's eye. And that's the point of today's video. Peace out.